Hello everybody. Who am I here with today?
My name is Kip. I am here in Thailand with my new friend Jazek. How are you guys?
Yes, Skip. Why Thailand out of all countries?
Okay, so that's a really good question. So, being in the United States and having lived in Germany as an exchange student,
hmm
I need to ask a question. Do I look at you or am I needing to look at the camera when I'm trying to say this?
Um, at me, you can at
Is it going to
times
be like
just give a little glance to
is it
camera.
going to be like looking at the side? Is that a good view? I don't know anything about technology.
We have crisscross cameras. One is looking at me. This camera is
Oh,
looking
okay.
directly.
I've never done this thing before.
Okay.
So, why Thailand? Well, so I have lived all over the United States. I was born near Chicago, lived in Florida, moved
hmm
to Germany as an exchange student, and then came back to Florida, then Utah for many years, and then
Utah.
and then Portland, Oregon,
hmm
and our kids are now grown and everything, and so it was sort of this thing of like, well, we speak all the languages in German, French, English, Spanish, and everything for Europe, and
hmm
we've been down to Central America and all that kind of stuff and everything. So what about heading over to Asia and getting a foothold over there and see what that's all about? So it was sort of like, if you want to put a foothold into Asia and you want to go, what's the easiest way for me to get my brain around this? Thailand is the most accessible, easiest country to kind of do that with. And so my idea initially was go to Thailand, do business in Vietnam, but I ended up in Thailand doing
hmm
business in Thailand.
All right. So first there was Vietnam on your mind, right?
Yeah, for business. I
Initially,
thought I'd
yeah.
live in Thailand, thought I'd
hmm
do business in Vietnam.
Okay, all right. So, do you run your business here? Yes.
Yeah, it's very funny. When I came out to Thailand, I had a commitment, which was to do everything offline. I wanted to move everything offline because I've always made online. I've always made all my money offline in
Mm-hmm.
real estate and other businesses and everything. And I was like, you know what? I want to do everything online. So I started learning that. But as life would have it, things come back. And so I now have a co-working space here in Ao Nang, and
Mm-hmm.
also I have a development that I'm doing about 4 kilometers from here in real estate, in addition to my online projects.
Okay. So, what's your wealth profile? What your business profile? I mean, how
You
many
know,
businesses establishment you're running at the moment?
that is let's just say more than a dozen. That's a better way to say
More
it.
than a dozen.
Yeah, that's a better
Oh
way
my
to say
God.
it. Yeah. But the thing is this is there's two things that I think people make a mistake on. We'll jump right into it. Hopefully your audience can track this, but most people are so focused on the business thing. There's two things that they could do. One is to think in terms of systems all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
if you build systems and you set it and say whatever it is that's good enough, keep making iterative changes slowly but surely on the systems,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're not like panicked all the time and freaked out because, like, for example, I have a lot of stuff going, but right now my attention is here with you. I'm not thinking about anything else, and
Mm-hmm.
why should I? And then the second thing I think also is to have a very good understanding of why you're doing what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
because if you can, and I don't know if I'm coining this term, so I'm going to repeat this, but most people like on locking in monk mode, I'm going to be all this stuff. I think that's kind of crap. I don't think that's going to see you through with the staying power to be happy and confident about what you're doing. And
Mm-hmm.
so I have a different view of it, which is service maxing, which is how much good can I do
Service
for.
maxing.
Yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
might have coined that word. If I didn't, I'm sorry. If I'm lying,
Mm-hmm.
that's my fault. But I think I admit it, but maybe I didn't. But if I didn't, and someone else did, credit to them. But this is the idea, like when you're down and everything, you think about all the good that you've done in the world and everything, and that sees you through to a lot higher place in business.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Um, since we touched this topic, it was meant to be one of my questions further down the line.
Okay.
But you just mentioned systems. How systems are important when when you're running a business, especially when you're running a dozen of
So the first thing
businesses.
is that
Mm-hmm.
there was a book written way back a long time ago called the E Myth,
Mm-hmm.
letter E Myth, and it's the entrepreneur myth. It's and by Michael Gerber, and the thing is he talks about the idea of systems, because if you don't have a system, you're going to start with all these great plans, and then you're going to find yourself being like, now today I'm washing dishes, oh, and I'm sweeping the floor, and I'm trying to do the books, and I'm trying to do this, and I'm trying to do this, and you end up burning yourself out. And so if
Mm-hmm.
you start with the idea of this, number one, build a business with the intent of, what if it were $1 million business? What if it were immediately $1 million business? How would you treat it? You would respect it. You would treat it with some discipline and some care. And the second thing is you would never work in that business. Think about it. If you're doing $1 million business, you don't have time to work in that business. You've got to have employees. You've got to have all that. So, the thing is, if you start with systems approach and you say, how do I build this business so that I never step foot in it?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that honestly, because I can tell your viewers that, I own real estate in an awful lot of different areas, but I've never been to those areas.
Okay, so that's quite of different approach than some other businessmen are propagating. That you have to know your business like a back of your pocket to run it properly.
I think if you know your business, but that doesn't mean that you have to do all the roles in the business. So back to your question, are we still hot?
Okay. Cameras rolling, yeah?
Cool. So back to your question about running a business. If you spend 80% of your time building the system, then you can have a predictable outcome of what comes back to you. At 20% of your time, you've got to know your business. There's no question. But at the same time, if you approach it with a discipline saying, okay, if I had to outsource that and have somebody else do it, how would I do it? And to me, that actually speaks to a real business. If you've got to be doing every single thing in that business, I don't think it's a business. I think you've created a job.
You've created a job for yourself, exactly.
Yeah.
If you're busy working, you have no time to make money.
Exactly.
Keep your mic is looking down. Any chance you could put it on the other way of your shirt? May I?
Sure.
Would it be okay? Okay.
Oh,
cool.
There you
Fantastic.
go.
Fantastic.
Technology issues. Well, I hope that other stuff wasn't too quiet and everything.
No, everything should be okay, but just to be safe.
Very good.
Just to be safe.
Yeah, so if you're running a business, you need to think about all the parts ahead of time, as many as you can, so that you can get started and think about them from the perspective of how would I have this done rather than me having to do it all. Otherwise, you're just going to get burned out. And I've seen it with so many people. They've got this entrepreneurial idea and they're doing all this stuff. And then after about 3-4 months, they start to fade off and they start to get cooked. And it's never a good thing to see, but that's just how it goes.
Okay, all right. And how long have you been actually not self-employed by running? How long have you been running a business or businesses?
They coincide because so I've been self-employed or running my own business for 36 years.
36 years.
So that's not 1 or 2 years. That's a long time. And
that's a quite of experience.
Well, the story behind it was kind of an interesting one because I had, just from my background, I had just gone through and completed college, and I kind of went really hard on college. I got 3 bachelor's degrees and a master's degree, all in 3.5 years.
3 bachelors, 1 master's.
Yeah, in 3.5 years before I turned 21.
Oh my God.
And my whole goal was, and that's not me being brilliant for you viewers out there, that's called trauma. That's called how do I escape everything. And after that time, when that happened, my mom ended up getting cancer. And so I was like pulled back into that. And my dad and my brother and sister, and it's just weird and everything. And so it fell on me as the youngest to kind of take care of that. So I had a lot of time to think. So I watched her die over about 17 months. And as that happened, I had time to think about stuff. And I was like, I'm not going to ever work for anybody ever again. And I didn't, which is kind of cool.
Okay. So that was the bottom line. You said, okay, never again. I'm going on my own. Did you have a lot of money saved when you started your first business? Or maybe are you coming from money and it was running in the family?
I have no, not at all. I have all these needle holes in my arm, which are for giving blood for money. And that's what I started. It's such a coincidence, if you will, if you believe in coincidences, that I rolled into Utah with $20 left. I had $20 and that's it. I couldn't have even gotten gas the next time. So it just worked out. And I gave plasma. I don't even know if that's still a thing, but they would pay you for money. And as I did that, I read every single book in the library. I had a dirt cheap place to live for about $100 a month. And then I ended up starting the entrepreneurial thing and started out with a health food restaurant. It wouldn't be a business thing. So I've reached the point in everything that it's like, I go through businesses and houses and stuff like that, like socks. That I'm not really, I wouldn't say I am very, very, very good at real estate, but I'm not passionate about it. It's just something I'm really good at.
Real estate?
And so I've got a development in Ao Nang. Actually, it's in Banalai, which is about 5 kilometers from here. And I'm doing affordable housing in Thailand for Thai people and for Farang, because this new model of 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom villa with a pool and everything for 18 million baht is just kind of a stupid thing. But people who say, I don't want to wait until I'm 50 to retire, I can, have my house and my setup in Thailand when I'm 25. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build really affordable, cool housing that is accessible to anyone. and then they can kind of do the thing that I did, which is you never really retire and you never are really working. You're always in both states.
Okay, all right.
So I'm fond of that, but I think the things that I'm most excited about, the things that involve service, my day to day look like talking with a person in Bangkok who runs an initiative for teaching blind people how to massage. And then once they're done with that,
Oh.
so for example, in Bangkok, there are 14 massage places that are for blind people to initiative to help them. There's 6 in Chiang Mai, there's 6 in Phuket, and there's 0 in Krabi, and soon there will be 1. That's fun for me. Starting a business and going, great, here it's self-sustaining.
Okay. Okay. So, do you believe that once you establish yourself as a legit businessman, we should give back to society?
I think you should give back regardless. I think that's something that's like, for me, even coming from a lot of trauma and all that kind of stuff, that didn't define me. And the fact is that I think people are especially Gen Z, and so I'm gonna take shots at Gen Z for a second. I can't imagine being so ungrateful about everything. Like, there's people that come to Thailand and bitch and moan about everything, and I'm like, what are you doing? You've got sunshine, and you've got great air, and you've got mountains, and you've got water, and you've got people that are kind, and you've got a motorcycle you can ride around on. What do you have to complain about?
Because there is sometimes poor signal on internet.
Well, you know what? The signal is not reaching your head. The signal is that the brain wiring is crossed. It's short-circuited. But no, I mean, and I do believe in that. I think that having a sense of gratitude and peace about every single thing. For example, and I'll get philosophical with you for a second. When we go, oh my gosh, I got all this pressure and everything, that's good. Because if you feel that tension, if you feel that like, wow, I'm up against something, it means you've gone to the edge of your comfort zone.
Exactly.
And there's only one choice. You can retreat back into it and play small, or you can go, okay, I got to
double down.
I shed my skin, I get a little bit bigger. There's that story of the eagle that I don't know if you know about that they, I don't, and I may be getting this wrong. They have to do this molting process where they pull their feathers out first, and then their beak is risking cutting into their face, and so they have to smash their beak until they tear it off their face. And then once they do that, they have to wait and starve till their beak grows back again. And I think they have to do that every 2 years. And I'm like, what do we have to complain about? Oh, well, I had to eat ramen noodles and sleep on the ground for 2 weeks. What are you complaining about? You know what I mean? So anyway, that's my take.
Yeah, exactly. Or there's a similar story with Jesus, what's the name of the animal? With lobsters, they have to also hide under the rock, cast off their shell. Also, they have to spend some time in solitude before their rigid shell gets tough, gets stronger, and then they go back to society stronger.
Yeah.
So you just said that you hold 3 bachelor's degrees and 1 master's. What fields?
All of them based around international studies.
International studies.
So that's where the language background comes from, and sort of the love of like traveling all over and seeing the world and visiting different places. It's all from that.
Okay. Nowadays we live in an age of AI, where AI can answer the phone, can send an email for you, can also build a website for you. The AI knows technology, knows science, math, knows engineering, knows medicine. Don't you think that education is becoming worthless in this in our times, and spending time in college nowadays might be really a wasting of time? Don't you think so?
Well, so
Would
the
you
way you
agree?
ask that's a loaded question. A better way is to say, do I think that formal education through the formal institutions is a waste of time? Yes. However, one of the things that it does provide that we don't get is mentorship and feedback and judgment, meaning if you don't do a class and you sleep through it, you get a failing grade. And so what I see about all these people who are like, oh, I'm autodidactic, I can do everything online, I don't need this, and I go, great. Do you actually do it? Do you follow through with what you're saying? And if we're going to get rid of universities, which I'd be okay with, we need to formalize some sort of a, maybe from the Greek tradition, or some sort of a mentorship philosophy, so that you don't just have people going, oh, I'm going to do drop shipping, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. Those people kind of make me sick, because they have not learned the discipline to turn off the input that's coming in and just focus on the task at hand.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can find tough mentors to help people, then I think that we could replace the college system.
Yeah, but how to structurize it if there's no formal education, or formal education is being abandoned by young generation? How to structurize it?
Yeah, and I think
because what I also noticed, formal education might be looked at waste of time, but on the other hand, it teaches you how to find yourself in the society with so many different people, where everyone comes from different background, everyone has on their mind different thinking processes, and it also teaches you asking proper questions.
I don't agree with their second point. The first point, absolutely about socialization, but I do not think in today's social environment in universities you're even allowed to ask the proper questions. Because in my belief, you should be able to ask anything you want without judgment. This is how we learn. This is how we go. But if anyone's going to be critical, and I don't just mean that from the political side, there's a lot of things you're never supposed to talk about, sure. But I also mean it from the science side. There's people like, that's a stupid theory. That's never going to work. We've proved that false. Well, someone might revisit it and then make a breakthrough. Where have most of our breakthroughs come from? Outside of institutional facilities. So that being the case, I think we have to be able to ask all the questions.
Sorry, what I meant was it teaches you when you tackle when you have a problem, to tackle a problem properly and to ask proper question how to overcome this problem, how to solve it. That's what was on my mind.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking at this from ideological point of view at this time.
I understand. Yeah. You know, I don't know. I will tell you, if you held a gun to my head and said, do I think college is a good idea? No, of course not. I think it's too expensive. I think just the financial, at least in the United States, the financial repercussions of it make it a bad investment. So I would never recommend college to anyone. However, they should find something and become very, very good at it. Maybe it's a manual labor skill that is not going to be taken up by AI in the next 5 years. Maybe it's a plumber, electrician, a rebuilder, a carpenter, something. But find something that isn't going to be blown out by AI in the next 5 years, and then just have that as a backup while you do whatever you're passionate about.
Yeah, I also spent some time in college, in different colleges, but what I noticed at some stage, I was there because I was on one hand, you're getting smarter when you're spending time in college, but on the other hand, I was I was hiding the warmth of the comfort zone college provides, fostering my shyness through it, to know how to do something and to know how to make something work, where you add the human factor to it. Because when you want to get something done, what ultimately you have to do is you have to deal with people. And in college, actually, you don't get that. You need to be street smart to be able to deal with people. So what is paramount? What do you say? Which education would be paramount? Being streetwise or formal education?
It's an interesting thing, because the best compliment I ever received in my life was by a guy named John Richards, who wrote a book called Calculator Power, which is all about determining, net present value of future cash flows, and all about number manipulation, which is, you see a building, I see numbers. You see a car, I see numbers. So he's one of the people that was really great, and he paid me a really great compliment. And he said, KIP is one of the few people that has the ability to take really high level, esoteric, academic theory and knowledge and combine it with street smarts to make a workable system. Yeah. So if you ask me what is more important, I can't answer it that way, because you'd want to say, our kind of like giving our finger to education says, no, street smarts are all that matters, and this is that new tough guy inner thing. Okay, great. But where is beauty? Where is language? Where is the values of a society? Where is building something for its own sake? Where is the good that is created if it's all about street smarts? So where's the aspiration to some higher standard for our body, mind, soul, spirit, whatever? Sometimes that's the purview. Sometimes that's where that comes from in academia. So I don't think I can answer it that well. And I have a hell of a lot of street smarts. It's like, I can sail a ship, I can deliver a baby, I can shoot a gun, I can whatever you need me to do. So it's like, if you're ever in a bad situation, there's a phone in front of you, you can call one person, I'd be like, I'm good, I don't need to call anybody. So I am very resilient and I've learned a lot of things as my path to become a Renaissance man, but I don't think you can, where would you read great classic literature that's going to bring, if it's all about street smarts, where are you going to become a higher version of yourself? So I don't know if I can answer it as cleanly as that. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. No, but I love your answer. Thank you. You just mentioned classic literature. Do you think classic literature is still important to get your knowledge from?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
To extract your knowledge?
I think it's X factor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that means.
To extract your knowledge
Oh,
from.
extract.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, because these things don't change. I mean, whether you're reading the Brothers Karamazov about morality and faith and hope and all that, or you're reading Saint Augustine Confessions, which was written in like 300 AD or something, or 270, or whether you're looking at the writings of different early philosophers, and it's asking the important questions, which it kind of is something that if you don't go and read from these classic literature,
Mm-hmm.
you sound like an idiot, honestly, because you're like, hey, what about this? And I'm like, this has been argued about for 1,000 years by people who are far more intelligent than you are. You should probably start there and humble yourself and read through so that you can have a grasp of what you're talking about before you go,
Mm-hmm.
I know the answer politically, or I know the answer about this. There's a humility that comes from reading really smart people.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say classic literature is as important as making time for that as turning off the garbage signal that comes in. They go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
What I mean by that for your viewers, just it's just like, and I'm way too old for this, so I'm way older than you guys, but I don't know what it means to go down the YouTube rabbit hole. I've never done it. It doesn't make any sense to me. My version is I type in something on YouTube, I find it, I do what it says, and then I leave. But people watch it, and it's like, how is that any different, honestly, than just sitting there in your spam inbox and reading every single spam message and going, oh, you can make money on this. Oh, hey, you know what? Someone's got a warranty for my car. Oh, hey, I can have solar panels installed. Oh, hey, did you know I can buy these pills that make my wiener grow? Oh, I can do. How is that any different than someone saying, oh, I doom scroll, I get stuck in a YouTube rabbit hole? How's that any different? But we make it sound better, don't we? As if you're doing something, but you're not.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's as important to turn that off to make space for your brain
Mm-hmm.
as it is to read classic literature, for sure.
Okay. Okay. And do you think classical literature is helpful with developing critical thinking?
100%.
100%.
Yeah. When you go through stuff that has been like, there's a reason it's classical literature, because
Mhm.
it's survived for
Mhm.
so long, because what it's talking about are things that are really timeless.
Mhm. Okay. And how important critical thinking is in our era, in nowadays times? Is it more important than it was, or is same important as it always has been?
Again, the way you're wording it is weird. I don't think it's important at all. Otherwise, people would be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not doing it, so it's not important to them.
Mm-hmm.
Is it important for me? Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. All right. And what would you say? What's the way to develop critical thinking? Through writing, through discussion, through reading? What's the best way? What would you say?
Okay, so I'll give you two things. One is this. Let's take reading classical literature about whatever topic. Let's have that be the one thing. And let's have the second thing being the thing that I think all of you are probably doing wrong. When I came out to Thailand 2 years ago, I was anti-technology.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I need to learn this. I don't know anything about this stuff. I can't even run a computer correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so what I did is I dove into AI, because I was like, well, that's the thing I need to do. And because I am used to some of the values that I got from classical literature, such as learn to be good at things that you don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't want to, and I hated sitting in front of a piece
learn things. Could you repeat that?
Yeah, a piece of advice for your people is get good at doing stuff you don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's good at stuff they want to do,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the stuff you don't want to do. Get good at that and learn to just go, okay, yeah, I have a feeling about this, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to do it.
I like this idea. Mm-hmm.
You have an emotion, you go, oh man, I really don't want to do that. Okay, I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's like, oh, I really don't want to fight Muay Thai. Okay, I guess I'm fighting Muay Thai. You know what I mean? Or whatever. So, I think with the AI thing, the thing that I see people doing is I just have a thing. If someone sends me anything from AI, I just delete. I don't even look at it. I do not even grace it.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why is because there's no critical thinking there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to use AI, here's my suggestion. Create a agent, run it in Cloud, whatever you want. I don't care which one of the things. Say, hey, look, your job is to rip whatever I say apart and challenge me at every single point, and don't let me get away with anything. And use it to just challenge everything that you think. Because guess what? You may be wrong about everything. You may be wrong about money, politics, religion, everything. You may be wrong about everything.
Mm-hmm.
How will you know if we're in a society that we're all in our little bubbles and we're so scared to push on anything?
Mm-hmm.
So at least have somebody provide a counterbalance in life and have that somebody be AI. But I don't know anybody that has AI acting as a critic, brutal critic all the time. That's what I do.
Yeah, I ask ChatGPT not to agree with everything I say, to find loopholes in my thinking processes. That's what I asked him at some stage, because if ChatGPT tend to just pet you and agree with everything you say, even if you're saying BS, and it's not the way to progress
No, because
with
it's
anything.
gonna,
Yeah.
it's psychophantic behavior. It's disgusting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, it's funny because I built I have all these roles,
Mm-hmm.
and I said my goal is to restrict the behavior of the AI not to be an assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I have it do is when I begin it has an automatic role check. Hey, what role are you in and what role am I in? And it's like, I want you to be a coworker, or I want you to be an architect, or I want you to be a implementation person, or I want you to be a teacher, or I want you to be a critic, or I want you to be all these different roles that I've created. And once it's in that role, it's fixed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great way to do it. And then I say, okay, now change your role. Okay, you gave me all this stuff. We built all this stuff out. Now go be a critic and let's look at the stuff together. Okay, let's see what we missed. Okay, now let's rewrite it. But I mean, I just see what people send me in AI, and man, I think if you guys are using AI that way, you should be ashamed, because there's people like me that can see through it, and it's really embarrassing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what would you say? How important is not technology but social media in running a business? Is it crucial to be your presence of your business crucial on social media like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube
Yeah.
nowadays?
Yeah, I
Or
think so,
Mhm.
because we went from like the industrial age to the information age to the technology age to all this, but now I think we are in the attention age, and it's sort of like our last currency that we have is how much attention we're going to give something.
Mhm.
And so I think that it's probably very important. I don't have a good answer for you because um, what is missing is people that have read classical literature that have any aspiration to a higher value. And what I mean by that is, you know, I don't care how you feel about this interview. I care about you as a person, and I
Mhm.
want to make sure am not disrespectful. But we don't have to agree on everything. And what I mean by that is that if I am so caught up in social media that I've got to say what's palatable for people,
Mhm.
if I've got to say what people are going to want to hear,
Mhm.
then it means I'm not going to be authentic.
Mhm.
I can do it. I'm very good at this. Watch. If you guys want to make money right now, you need to stop what you're doing, because I've pulled it off. I'm 36 years self-employed. You can come out to Thailand. I will personally mentor you. I've got a cost, but you can pay it back within 4. Do you really want that? Do you want that?
Good one.
You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
because and I think we're so scared. We
Mhm.
go after people trying to tell us because nobody wants to say, "Hey, I just want to hang out with this guy and talk." You
Mhm.
know what I mean? So social media is incredibly important. Incredibly
Mhm.
important. It's also evil. So
Mhm.
figure it
It
out.
is, yeah. Have you ever heard of STI, socially transmitted illness, that people, especially Gen Z, gets from social media?
Sure.
What I have on my mind is uh, just after pandemic, there was a influencer with millions of views, and he had Tourette syndrome, and he would often post videos with him having his Tourette tics, and he would be going on about this illness. And what happened next? There was a flood of young people at psychiatrist with Tourette syndrome,
Yeah.
and they got the bottom line is they got it transmitted from
Yeah.
watching
Sure.
videos. Can you imagine how impactful technology, especially social media, are?
Yeah, but let me tell you a story. August 4th, 2008.
Mm-hmm.
August 4th, 2008.
Mm-hmm.
I joined Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
and I called my girlfriend and I said, and we're talking, and I said, hey, you know what? I just read this article, and the article was on the effects of um, new information on. Okay, basically, I'm paraphrasing. I'm going to get this wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The effect of new information on the appreciation of old information.
Mm-hmm.
And I read that and I was like, basically it said, if you look for this new thing, 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 whenever you look at the old thing, you go, oh, that doesn't bring me any joy anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I called her and I said, hey,
Novelty seeking.
I said, but this is 2008. This is how ahead of the curve I was. I was on YouTube I was on Facebook for about 3 weeks, I think. And I said, my gosh, I know where Facebook is going. This is evil. If you're constantly seeking something new, you're going to be bored of it. And I go, I quit. I'm done. And so I quit. So that is what the benefit of being like a philosopher and being classically trained and thinking of stuff is. I was like, I see where this is going to go.
So you're talking about dopamine overstimulation addiction.
Yeah, but nobody was talking about that in 2008 and actually doing things about it. And I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that. So now come flash forward and everything, and I've got a couple of TikTok accounts, 500,000 followers on one, and then some 20,000 or whatever on the other. And I find myself in that world. But the only thing I can do is to say, I cannot care about how this is received, but I want to open up a dialogue with people and be the most authentic person that people talk to. If I can do that, I'm a decent enough human being. That's it. But I think that this socially transmitted information, whatever you're calling it, of course, you know what I mean? We're scared. We're scared of everything. And so if somebody says, hey, I've got this illness, and they get special attention, and suddenly people are ignoring their flaws and not holding them to a standard, saying, oh, and making excuses for them and saying, well, they've got a sleeping disorder. They don't know how to sleep properly or whatever it is. Then, of course, another person's going to go, man, I want that. I want people to see me as special. I want people to make excuses for me. Why wouldn't they? The problem is that it's just not true.
Yeah. But doesn't it also mean that we can be socially engineered, that we can be easily manipulated, we can be easily impacted, influenced by whoever has a wrong agenda and targeting young people with their thinking processes to redirect them in wrong,
of course,
to put them on the wrong tracks.
But who says I'm playing defense? I'm not stuck in here with you. You're stuck in here with me. I rearrange people's DNA. I solve the problems. I want people to be good to each other, and I want to create a better world and everything. So I'm out here infecting other people with that. Thinking for yourself, positivity, being kind, being a decent person, being appreciative, having gratitude, all these things. So it can go both ways. It just takes enough people standing up to the bullshit and saying, hey, I don't like that. That's just gross. And here's the test I have for people. Get on social media, set a timer, check in with yourself in 2 minutes, and just rate how do you feel mentally, physically, emotionally. And then just see after 5 minutes. And just do it one time in your life. Please do this. If you're watchers, just do it one time. And then when you go, man, I don't feel so good. Then take a stand against it and do the opposite. And talk to people. And you know what I mean? So why would we, if you know you're being socially engineered, then why do it? Why participate?
Okay, maybe I am aware of that, but not many people are aware
well, then
of
it's
that.
your job, if you're aware of it, to take a stand on behalf of them. Are you your brother's keeper? Damn right you are. You need to take a stand. Otherwise, you're just part of the problem. I'm not going along with it. My job is to say that's stupid.
Fair play. Fair play to you for saying that.
No, really, I think we need to look out for people. What would you do if it was your child? What would you do if it was your friend's kid? You would look out for them. So if you're going to participate, then do it with some sort of a moral ethos. If not, don't do it.
Actually, yeah, this podcast is one of the reasons. This approach you just mentioned, that is also my job. If I realize that we are being manipulated, to stand up for myself or for the others.
Sure.
This podcast is one of the reasons I came to conclusion that we need to protect ourselves against this moral decay, this all evil that's been going on. Is we have to just talk about it. We have to make people aware that such facts, such instances are being going on, and we have to secure our money, our income. So we have to also start businesses.
Yeah.
To protect ourselves against it.
I think the question about that is, are there not the opposite sides that are trying to manipulate you the same way? I see so many people that are like, hey, you should start a business. You should do this. You should do this. And it's, again, that's an opinion, but there's some people that the best thing for them to ever do is to have a job that they stay with forever.
Mhm.
Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. That's silly. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's for the people that think they should do it. So just as bad as it is for someone to say, hey, you should be scared. You need to get a good insurance plan. You need to get a good, safe government job. Is the same people that are like, hey, you know what? You should go in my thing. Only 490 affiliate, blah, blah. If you're going to do that, they both can be wrong in situations. So
Mhm.
the biggest thing is just to give people permission and the confidence to think for themselves.
Mhm. Okay, name of this channel is Brave Business. Do you need to be brave to start your own business?
Let me think about that for a minute.
Mhm.
Was I brave? No, I don't think so. I think I was terrified.
Mhm. Yeah, but you did it anyway. So that means, I believe that means courage doesn't mean being afraid and
Well, just give me 1 second.
and get
Let me
hide.
think about it for 1 second. Was I
Mhm.
brave? Yes, because here's what I'm going to say.
Mhm.
Bravery is not, I'm not scared of something. Bravery is
I'm doing it regardless.
terrified,
I'll do it
but,
regardless.
and the way that I always say it is this. It's like, oh my gosh, I have this feeling about this, and I walk. Oh my gosh, this thing could happen. Yeah, and I walk. But this is so great, this is good, and I just walk. And finally, you learn to say, most of those voices that are in your head
Mhm.
are just in your head. They don't even matter. And so you just keeping on. Just keeping on.
Mhm.
Action. Stay in action.
Mhm.
You know.
Okay. All right. Mm.
So I would say bravery in a sense of like, give yourself permission to say this. If you're new to business, say, let's say you're going to start a car washing business.
Mhm.
Okay. I am going to make the worst car washing business that there's ever been on the entire planet. I'm
Mhm.
going to screw it all up, and then commit to that.
Okay.
And what I mean is that this BS in social media has got everyone pretending they're at this apex of perfection, that
Mhm.
they don't make any mistakes,
Mhm.
and then when they act like that, people feel alienated. Like, man, that guy's really smart. I might make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make a lot. So give yourself permission to be kind to yourself, to be human. You don't see a baby child, like a child walking for the first time. You go, you stupid idiot. Look, you've fallen over. You're never going to walk. So why would you talk to yourself that way?
Mhm.
So I think it's being brave, but I think it's also being compassionate to yourself.
So would you say it is okay to fail with your first business?
It's okay to fail with every single business you ever start.
Okay. All
You
right.
know, why? So you're going to go to your end of your life and go, geez, I didn't maximize my productivity with this. What? You're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
So what does it matter?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you're really like, was I most optimal outputting in my efficiency on my correlation of a 6 Sigma, blah, just stop. You go, you know what? I did my best. I tried. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Perfection is an illusion that I can't stand, because you're never going to get there. And people have that. When they do that, it prevents them from really taking action.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just showing up and trying, do something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 58. I started Muay Thai. Should I start Muay Thai at 58? Go look on Google. It's like, is 30 too old to start Muay Thai? I'm 58. I don't
Mhm.
care. I'm going to do it anyway. So what?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be good at it. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people need compassion just as much as they need bravery. Give themselves a little bit of benefit of the doubt. Give themselves a pat on the back and go, man, just try it. And don't worry about what other people say. And it's okay to fail. And that way you don't get locked up in perfection. Oh my God, I've got to do it right. You will not do it right. So say, I'm going to screw it up.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think that's important? Giving yourself permission to just make huge mistakes.
Of course, it is important.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you can beat yourself up.
But look at the message of social media. Here's 9 things that if you don't do correctly, you're going to regret for the rest of your life. Hey, here's 4 things I wish I knew. Why would you do that? Why not just be honest and go, man, you are going to make mistakes.
Those people, I believe, they don't really want to help. What you use is hooking technique. They want to hook somebody on their video, and they want to sell their own product,
Sure.
their own digital product.
When I started social media, I said I have one goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I said this, and I was like, and you can probably tell by how I'm not very good on camera, but I go, I'm going to shoot everything in one take, no do-overs, no editing, and I'm going to be the most authentic person that I possibly can be. I'm going to talk to you the same way that I would my wife. I talk to you the same way my kids, the same way I would a stranger. I'm going to talk to you exactly that way, and I've committed to that, and it's actually worked pretty well, because people are like, man, that guy is, at least he's real.
Okay, that's actually a very good observation, because that's how I started with social media, but then I started editing. And I started scripting, then learning, then editing, and I find myself freezing with or having words slipping out of my mind, or being lost. So you say that that's the better approach, just to hit off and do everything in one go?
Did you know that if you aren't saying these 5 things at the beginnings of your videos, you're going to lose 82% of your audience? With my proven system, you can find a way to... Come on, man. Like, if someone talked to you like that in real life, what would you do? No, but really, it's just like, what are you so scared of that you would talk to someone like that? You know what I mean? Why front? Why try to be something that you're not? Why not just be yourself? But be the most you that you can possibly be. Everyone's got a unique selling proposition, USP. Lean into that. Be the most you that there's ever been, and share that love with the world. And people are like, man, that guy's cool. I really do believe that. I think everyone, if they were the most you that you could possibly be, people would dig on it. I really believe that.
Okay, all right. So you mentioned before also that you run a school. You founded school here in Thailand, or
kind of? It's a funny thing. So I met a priest in town in Anang. He's a Catholic priest, and he had all these buildings that were sitting there, and they're really run down. And I was like, you know, I could do something with that. You know what I mean? And so we're starting a vocational training center, not a school. It's more of a learning center.
Okay,
and this is what's cool, where kids can come in and learn like video editing and all this kind of stuff. It's all online, and learn stuff that they can actually make an income that is worth something in Thailand. They can actually join the global economy and do all that. We have the blind massage thing coming in. We have a motorcycle training safety course so that people come out here and they die. Foreigners die all the time in my city because they don't know how to ride a motorcycle, and then they crash and die. And I've trained a lot of people to ride, and now we're going to formalize that and have training. So it's all of these things at this learning center are going to have a philanthropic, a religious, a social component, a community component, something that is like, how do we help people around the area? That is what you asked me. What business I was probably most excited about? Probably those kind of things.
This one.
Yeah, it's fun doing. Man, you know what? And I'll tell you a story about that. Let's pretend you're 7 years old. It's Christmas morning, and you go down and all the things are under the tree, all the presents, and you open the present and you get that thing that you always wanted, and how happy you are. And you think of that joy that you feel. Now imagine that you're the uncle that bought that kid that present, and you're watching him open it. And what feels better? What do you think?
That's two different feelings.
Yeah.
One is the kid is probably happy, but you probably feel grateful that you could give joy to this.
So if we know that second one is true, how much time do we spend doing really good things for a bunch of other people? And I don't know, maybe that's because I'm not scrapping, chasing money or something. I don't know. But I just think that it's something you can do at every age. I'll give you an example. When I fast, so we're fast like 43 hours, eat for 5, 43 hours, eat for 5. When I'm fasting, what I do is I take all the money that I would spend for food in Thailand, and it's really funny, and I just give it to people. Okay. You know what I mean? And it's really, really fun because no one's expecting that. You know what I mean? And I always say something stupid like "Happy Birthday" in Thai or something, and but it's so fun because they're like, "Wait, I wasn't expecting that." And you know what? I'll give you an example. There's these 2 little kids that are walking, and I don't know where they're walking to. Like, they're just walking next, and I pulled over and I said, "Hey, what's your name?" And they were very respectful, and they said their names and everything. And I said, "Okay, great." And I said, "Happy birthday." And I drove off on my motorcycle. I never let them talk to me. I just drive off. They're like, "What just happened?" And these kids were just bouncing up and down on the street. It's hilarious, you know? And so you get that feeling of, why not make the world a little bit better while you're here, you know? And so that's what I mean about like these projects that I'm doing where it's like, hey, you know, if you're going to leave your city a little bit better, why not? And I think that's that service maxing that I mentioned before. I think we should do both. Make your money and everything, but man, spend a good amount of your time doing good for the people around you. Because the last thing we need is more narcissists who are so self-absorbed and, you know, look, I've got 4 Bugattis and I've got this and I've got that. Really? You're still going to die, you know? So yeah, spend your time doing some service. Why not?
Yeah. And you've mentioned you're doing this project with church, with Catholic Church here.
Yeah.
How important faith is to you?
Well, here's what's funny so here's a trippy story for your audience is, imagine being Buddhist for 35 years, moving to a Buddhist country and becoming Catholic. all right, wait, what? It's mental, right? You know, but that's where the reading, that's where it comes in, because it's like,
You've been Buddhist for 35 years?
well, I'm Catholic now, but yeah, of course, yeah. And
You
so,
had been.
yeah, and so it's very funny because it's like, this is where it's like the reading. It's like, you know, when you start reading all of this stuff, and it's like, it's actually really complex. And what's funny for me is all the stuff that I read in philosophy in college and everything, I didn't actually realize these were all the Catholic authors, you know, Thomas Aquinas, Augustine, all these people and everything writing all this stuff. I didn't really know that they were all like, the formation of all the education and everything was primarily in the Catholic Church for a long time. And so going back to those classics, I was like, wow, this is cool. And so I would say faith. How important is faith? I don't know about faith. That's a good question. I haven't thought about that as well, but I can give you another word. There's hope. And I want to talk about hope, because hope, what most people have is they go, well, you know, I've got this guy I'm talking to about this project, and yeah, and I think it could work out, and I've got hope about that. And I don't think that's good enough. I think there's a hope that is very different, which is when there is no reason at all to expect that anything is going to work out, and you can still step into that space of hope and saying, you know what, there's no reason this should work out, but I think it will. And you have that, then there's something magical that does happen. And I don't know how the universe is made or all that stuff and everything, but you know, or whatever tradition people believe from, is like somehow things fall into place. And there's a trust that, and to me it's very simple, because it's like, am I really thinking that I'm the apex of the intelligence in the universe? There's nothing more intelligent than me in the entire universe. I got to pass on that one. So if there is, then maybe that hope is trusting that, you know, we have air to breathe. We have food to eat. We've got beauty out there. We've got goodness. We've got people. We've got relationships. This is an amazingly good, loving place. So maybe if there's an intelligence that's higher than us, it wants us to be happy. So maybe submit to that and go, you know what? What would be the best thing for me to do? That's kind of my path to Catholicism, if you will. You know, doing the best good.
Yeah, that's actually a funny coincidence, because we got connected by our common friend. Yeah, greetings to Polly. Yeah, and I met him in church, and that's where he met you as well, right?
Yeah. Well, I've been Catholic for about 3 weeks now, so there you go.
3 weeks.
A brand new baby.
And how is it going for you?
It was good. It was really fun. It was.
How was your first communion? Did you get many presents for your first communion?
No, I didn't. No, I got one book. Actually, I got a book.
Okay.
Yeah, which was nice. But you know what? I think that and I think a lot of people kind of understand this, in a world that is really like all over the map. And I wrote about this in 2017. I wrote an article called "The Liquid Society," that like, if back then I saw what was coming, it was like, if your race doesn't matter, and your gender doesn't matter, and your education doesn't matter, and marriage is dumb, and God is dumb, and this is dumb, and everything is dumb, and we've kind of thrown everything out the window. We did that deliberately. And you want to talk about conspiracies? I think it's because the only thing that defined us was your job. And if you were to try to move the world around, wouldn't you want people to be defined by their job only? You know what I mean? And I thought, man, this is sad that people have thrown away everything else. Thrown away family, thrown away community, thrown away church, thrown away this and everything. And so I think that the pendulum is swinging the other way. And I think people are starting to see through it. Like, we treat people as disposable objects. You know, like, here's this person, I'm going to go have sex with them, and I'm going to throw them away. And I think, man, if you treat people like that, you're asking the world to treat you the same way. I don't think that's good for anybody. And I think that there's sort of a pendulum swinging back. Maybe I'm wrong. That people are like, wait a minute, let's go back to some things like family and church and community and things that kind of hold us together, you know? That's what I think. I could be wrong, but that's what I think is happening.
Yeah, actually, in the United States, especially after assassination of Charlie Kirk, many people turned back to church. It was widely observed over there. But I have another question. Harvard. Harvard is a university with 400-year-old tradition, nearly 400 years old, and among them. Most notable alumni, there were 6 American presidents: Henry Kissinger, Robert Oppenheimer, Matt Damon, Natalie Portman. they've just hired a drag queen called Lahore Vajistan to run 2 faculties, including gender and sexual department.
Mhm.
What's your take on this?
My take is whatever political viewpoint you have, I'm sure yours is exactly correct. And I'm sure everyone else's political viewpoint is somehow inferior to yours, and you should look down on them. Do you understand what I mean? No, I don't think it's. I don't engage with stuff that's like, you know what I mean? It's like let them work it out. I want to work on the stuff that is important to me, and we have this thing of like one of the worst things about social media, and just see if this vibes with you, is that I think this maybe the single worst thing of social media is not the dopamine, is not the addiction, is not that, is that we're so quick to judge everything, and we feel good about it. You know what I mean? I'm trying to make an effort not to swear, but if I was like, look at those fucking idiots, look what they believe. You know, can you imagine them so dumb and everything? And you feel this righteous hatred towards this enemy, you know, and you feel good about it. You're like, man, I get to, and I get to feel good about it. I'm doing God's work, yeah. And I go, you know, I'm not playing in that. I'm not going to play in it because, you know, I can say my dad was PhD, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa at Harvard. Okay. I know that world. I was accepted to some very, very, very good universities. You know, I know that world, and so I think that it's just this is what happens when things become corrupt. But I'm not interested in getting into. There's far more things that are more interesting than me proving to you that my politics are correct or that yours are wrong or yours are right. I'm just not interested in that. When everyone's like, "Hey, how about that Trump?" or "How about this?" I go, you know what? Whatever you believe, I am certain that you're correct. You're the one that's right. Everyone else is wrong, and you should definitely judge everybody about that. And they're like, "Wait, you don't want to play?" And I go, "Why would I? It's boring. I'm not interested in that." You know, for me, with a master's degree in this, it's never A versus B. It's A, B, C, D, E, and F, G, and sometimes they're aligned and sometimes not. And it's an incredibly dirty, complex business. And to try to reduce it down to my team good, your team bad, I'm embarrassed. I don't. If I walked into a neurosurgery office and said, "I'm a neurosurgeon, so let me start cutting up. I know what I'm doing." What would you say? Like, dude, do you have any backgrounds? But everyone gets to come into my field of political science and act like an expert, like they should even open their mouths. I would say humble yourself and maybe go learn about this before you say anything. So I don't really engage people in the political world. I just say whatever you believe is right. Everyone else is wrong. I don't think there's anything to be gained. Honestly, I don't.
Okay.
Sorry if that's not a good answer for you, but I don't think there's anything to be gained in this world right now. You know, unless you're ready to pick up a gun and fight and shoot for it and kill for it, don't talk about it.
Yeah, but like, what was also on my mind, if you nurture people in certain environment, they are very likely when they grow up to follow the path they were taught. Simple as that.
I'm not sure if that's true. I don't know, but because I can think of certain things that it would be, certain things it wouldn't be, but it's possible, sure. So, so you're saying it's my obligation to make sure that they change their belief to what I believe.
No,
that's the important thing. Or just stand up for their incorrect.
That's not what I said. But you mentioned before that if I notice something is wrong, that my obligation is to just make other people aware. That's all I'm saying. Make other people aware that I've noticed there's something wrong, something's incorrect. We just should maybe talk about it.
Okay. I think if people are capable of talking, if they've got enough of an advanced brain that they can actually discuss something, I think that's a good idea. If it's something online where people are all about taking sides, I wouldn't engage that way personally.
Okay, all right, thank you.
But if people are capable of a reasoned discussion, sure. Yeah, I think it's healthy. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, one more thing. I think actually now that you mentioned, that would be something I would talk about, like how to be okay with having a reasoned discussion. I can have someone who is like completely communist person and everything and say, cool, and we can go to lunch afterwards and go, yeah, that's fine. I can have someone who's completely right wing and they can say whatever they're saying and say, yeah, cool, we can go to lunch afterwards. I don't need to hate somebody over a belief system. I just don't.
Cool. Thank you. Are you married?
Yes and no. I've been with my girlfriend for about 20 years. You know what I mean? And so what we're doing right now is we're going through the process of getting married in the Catholic Church. So we will be
Really?
married.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
So what's the secret of long-lasting relationship, of happy relationship? Because I believe you two must be happy
Yeah.
if you have such
No
a long...
covert contracts.
No?
No covert contracts.
No covert contracts,
So,
okay.
and one of my biggest TikTok things, I think it was a couple million views on that, was on a topic which is like this. You have two sheets of paper. One, here's what I'm going to do with my life to be happy. And you just say, this is what I'm going to do. This is what makes me happy. This is what I'm going to do. And then the second sheet is, here's what I need from you to help me with this list. So then you both write these independently, and then you go and you trade the second piece of paper. Here's what I need from you. And then you negotiate that one. Oh, so you need me to do this? I can't do that. Can we do this? And sure. And then you know exactly what it takes to help that other person be happy. They know exactly what you need to be happy, and they know where you're going to do that. That's it. So then it's like, it's very overt. There's no questioning, they should have known, and It's right there in black and white. Most couples will never do that because it takes risk. It's scary to actually say what you feel and write it out that way. But that's the secret, really.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, no secret contracts. Everything out in the open.
No secret contracts, okay. There is a story back in the USA after Second World War. There was a gentleman who had factory of he was importing gloves from Europe, and at some stage America imposed just custom fees on everything that being imported. So what he did, he separated gloves on right-hand gloves and left-hand gloves. He put them into different containers and shipped one container to New York, the other one to Boston. Then he didn't pick them up. Then he showed up on the auction because they were sold for nothing. So he bought them for nobody showed up to buy a
One glove
container full of right-hand gloves. So he bought them basically for nothing with no customs fee. Have you ever come across such disadvantageous situation and you turn it into your favor in business or in life?
In fact, that's kind of what I try to do, is to, I don't think it's good enough to just take something and set it back to neutral. I think if you can turn it positive, that's the real win. So for example, here would be an example. Me being anti-technology and knowing nothing about technology, and I don't even know how to run a Windows machine or anything. And then saying, you know what, I really need to learn that. So what would a normal person do? They'd say, well, I guess I should find a mentor, and I guess I should do this, and I guess I should take a class. And I'm like, no, I should open a co-working space, because that gives me a chance to be around all those people all the time. And I learned very quickly. And now you look at it 2 years later, and it's like, I am really, really good at AI. I hate it. I think it's evil, and I'm very, very, very good at it. You know, so that would be an example of like, here's a disadvantage thing, and turning it all the way. You know, don't learn something, start a company. Like, you know what I mean? So something like that. Yeah, I think that fits.
Okay, all right. Is it difficult to run your business in Thailand?
There are many cultural things that are you know, really different. I think if people are interested in doing business in Thailand and they want to reach out, feel free to contact me, because I went through and I did everything right. And it's very, very difficult, quite expensive. And if I were to try to like summarize it, if you want to do things as a Westerner and do it that way, you're going to bang your head into a wall. You're going to be really frustrated and unhappy. The biggest thing that is different for me is that it seems to me, and this is maybe cognitive bias, I'm not sure, but it seems like Thai people and Thai businesses do not plan ahead. They just kind of do with whatever's come up that day or that week.
More like going with the flow.
Yeah, that Grang Jai thing, yeah, for sure. They call it Grang Jai in Thai, keeping everybody comfortable. But on the other hand, when it's crunch time, man, they come through clutch. They just all hands on deck, you know. And I really appreciate that about the culture. Like when it's a real problem, they got that yeah, it's everything. Don't worry. But if something is bad, they go, oh, everybody together, and I really appreciate that. But it's just so different that you kind of gotta like let go of the stranglehold on your brain of how things should be. And that's kind of tough to do because it requires some internal work, you know.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, I'd say it's tough. You know.
Um, what about taxes if Thailand, if I may ask? Are they high? Are they income tax? And
10%.
for a business,
Yeah,
business
10% after the first 2 years, 10%. And so I think they're really moderate and everything. Here's a better question. What percentage of Thailand pays taxes? 4%.
4%
Yeah,
of Thai people.
Yeah. How does that work? Well, this is what, tourism, this is what all that stuff does. And you look at it and you go, man, I think that's very good, but that's also kind of a problem, I think. It could be. I'm not sure. But I just thought it was a wild statistic. I thought it was interesting.
Wow, 4%. Okay. I have few like one sentence questions to you.
Sure.
May I? Okay, that's done. That's done. Okay, I had written down what's the secret of good relationship, but we already covered that. What was your biggest challenge in running a business?
For me, I do not enjoy scaling a business.
Scaling.
I enjoy starting things. I really enjoy like the groundworks, taking something that is nothing and turning into something I absolutely love. Once it's working and it's doing that, I'm kind of bored. So I'd rather have someone else do the rest of it.
Okay. What was the toughest moment when you were running a business?
The toughest moment?
The biggest hardship you came across when you wanted to give up?
So I haven't had that. I have never had the thought of giving up.
Okay.
Because it's all I've ever done. You know what I mean? So if you think it's been like 36 years since I've punched a clock, or worked for someone else, I don't know about if the giving up is the biggest hardship though. I think the biggest hardship is seeing people give up on themselves deliberately, and that's really sad. When you see people who have so much potential and they just give up because they're in their heads about something, that's really sad. Because you go, man, I know what you're going to go through, and in 20 years you're going to go, I have a bunch of regret. And when you see it ahead of time, you're like, dude, don't do it. Don't do it. That's probably the hardest thing.
Yeah, there is a similar quote from Bronx Tales. I don't know if you've seen the movie. Yeah, Robert De Niro, actually the character played by Robert De Niro, he said that the saddest thing in life is worst potential and wasted talent.
Maybe I don't know if it's the saddest thing, but it is definitely sad for sure.
Okay, so what would be the best business to start in 2026?
In what country, or what? Give me some more parameters.
Oh, that would be another question. What's the best business to start in Thailand in 2026?
In Thailand, all right. So if I was in the West, I'll give you both answers. In Thailand, I honestly think it is amazing how there's never been a need to learn English the same way. It's a service industry, and AI is going to come in. And if you've got an AI person that can take your hotel reservations in 5,000 languages and do it all automatically with no mistakes and all that, and that's coming down the pike, it's kind of like, I think in Thailand that the biggest thing that they should do, the biggest challenges, is learn English quickly and get up to speed on AI. Because it's really lagging here for sure.
Okay.
And in the West, I would say construction, plumbing, sewer, some sort of a blue collar business. Go buy a book of business from someone who's retiring. Just buy their book, let them get out of it, take it over, build it up, modernize it, make a bunch of money.
Okay. What is the worst business advice that you've ever heard?
I don't know. There's an awful lot of it, because anything that is somebody telling you what to do instead of encouraging you to find out something for yourself, I think is bad business advice.
Okay.
I wouldn't presume to tell anybody, you should do this. I don't know your story. I don't know what's going on. So I'm going to say this. How about this? 99.9999999% of all business advice is bad. The reason why it's not your story. That's they're telling their story. And you believe they've got a perfect recollection. Well, when I was this, I decided to move our money and pollute into small and medium-sized businesses in the Northwest. It probably just was a luck or an accident. And we have this thing of like, I need to tell a good story, so let me tell you how perfect my thinking was. It's probably not true. So I don't know. I think most business books are complete BS. I think they're stupid.
Okay. So what's the best business advice?
I think the best business advice is systematize everything. Treat your company as if it was $1 million company from the very beginning, and build your company so that you never have to work in it.
Okay. If you were to start from scratch tomorrow, what business would you start? What type of
It's funny you say
enterprise?
that because I would love to. I've always wanted to do. There's I've never seen. I think I've seen like 2 reality shows in my life. I've never, but I want to do one that's this. Drop me in a country with no money, no cell phone, no anything at all, not even a place to sleep. And until I create enough money passively each month to buy the ticket to the next country, I can't leave. So it means that
cool.
if my ticket's going to cost me $2,000 to go to the next country, I have to make $2,000 passive monthly that's verified that it'll keep coming in for that time, and then I can leave and go to the next country. I would love that. I think it'd be really cool. Would that be cool? Because it's not just about earning money once. That's not it. How can you set up something passively? If I were doing it, I would go like this. I would go to businesses and I would say, what's your slowest day of the week? Okay, great. And I would go to another company that has got a good business that week, and I would do a cross promotion between the two and take some percentage. That's what I would do.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing point of view. Yeah. Thanks.
I would, I mean, just drive business and get a percentage of the sales.
If you have a great business idea that needs some funding, but you don't have much money to start, where would you be looking for investment funds?
I would go find the people that talk about the topic online, people that are farther along than you are, and just share with them. They're not going to steal your idea. Ideas are a dime a dozen and everything. One of two things is going to happen. Either they're going to advise you. If someone wants to pitch an idea to me, I don't care. I'm not going to do your stupid idea. I've got too many of my own. But I'll either give you feedback or I'll show you, hey, you know what that is? Good. Here's how you can go get money.
Okay.
So basically go to people that are further down in the same field that you are. Don't have this idea, oh my gosh, if I say something, they're going to take my $1 million idea. People don't do that.
Okay. What was your biggest luck and biggest mistake in running a business?
Biggest luck?
Biggest.
Biggest.
What was the biggest mistake you've ever made in your business, and what was the luckiest thing that ever happened to you?
I don't know that I can point to a mistake because every mistake has 2 components. One, you're going to make mistakes, so it's not a mistake. It's part of the process. And then the other part of it is just like, those mistakes took you to where you are now. So how much of a mistake could it really be? And I don't know. I'm not avoiding your question. I just don't really have regrets that way. Like I really don't. I don't have regrets that way. Like, oh, I should have done blah, 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 blah. There's things I think I could have improved on. One is just that I think I've always been sort of a little bit of a solitary person, and being a much more social animal would have been something that I think would have been better. But that's about it. I can't really think of anything. Biggest luck. Biggest luck is just being at the right place at the right time and talking to the right people. So the biggest luck is just to go out and talk to as many people as you can, and you make really fun connections. That's about it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's all 3 of us here today. Where do you bounce your business ideas? With your partner? With your
Where do I what?
Where do you bounce when you have a business idea? Is there a place, somebody you talk to, or you have a friend, or maybe?
That's a great question. I'm going to give you something that your viewers have not heard before. I don't.
You don't?
And I've never had a mentor, not one, in my entire life.
Really?
And what I do is this. I have a rule, and you guys could learn a lot from this.
Pure intuition?
No, listen. When I have an idea, I let it sit here. It's a burning clump of coal. It's burning in my throat. If I talk about it, hey, you know what I'm thinking I'm doing? I get the dopamine as if I had already done it, so I don't do it. And then I also don't go, well, I'm not going to do it. So the only satisfaction that I have is just when it's ready to go and it's about to launch, then I'll say, hey, tomorrow I'm doing this. And then I'll tell people, like, I didn't even know you were doing that. You know what I mean? So that's how you make yourself take action. Do not talk about it. If you want to make yourself take action, stop talking.
Okay.
And just sit with it and go, the only way for me to do it is to just do it.
Yeah,
because
I like
if
that.
you do it and it's wrong, the market gives you feedback, course adjustment, feedback, course adjustment, feedback. If you just sit there in your head or you run your mouth about it, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start this company. We're going to make T-shirts and we're going to sell them online. You know, if you do that, you've already given the dopamine hit, and you're not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people like that because they're like talking to me about an idea, and I go, I can tell you why you're never going to do that idea. They're like, what? This is my dream. And I go, you're not going to do it because I do stuff. I do a lot of things, and people that talk don't. So for your listeners, if you're someone that's like talks about all your business things and you've got a weekly roundtable where you share all your business ideas, you're going to fail.
Okay. Is it hard to do stuff? What's your mental model, if I may ask?
Is it hard to do stuff?
Well, yeah. Is it hard to get stuff? Because you said many people just saying about doing stuff and never do it. You said you do a lot. So what's your mental frame for it?
I'm choking. I go, this hurts. If I don't do something, I can't get this out. I can't talk about it. You know? There's so many things. There's a thing that people do either for health or for some people are Catholic, some people are called El Camino de Santiago. Have you ever heard of this? It's like they do this walk. I don't know much about it, but it's like this walk through Spain and France. And they just walk to a bunch of churches, or maybe there's a destination. I'm sorry, I don't really know what it is. But they do this big walk. And I was like, you know, why don't people do a walk in Thailand? That would be really cool. I've never heard of anybody. So I build this whole thing out, right? See, I'm talking about it now because somebody the other day was like, you know, that'd be cool to do. And I go, you know, actually, I've already built it. I'm launching it now. So you see how it forced me to take action. Like, how cool is it, like, walking through Thailand? How many people ever do a walking tour? Like, where you're walking, like, 500 kilometers. Nobody does that. You know, I think it's kind of cool. But I didn't talk about it until it was ready to launch.
Okay, so I think we're gonna be wrapping soon.
Okay.
Okay, Kip. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the invitation, taking your time to having this chat with me. Most
no
appreciated.
Yeah, and if your viewers, if they want to take what I said as a test and see, hey, here's I'm just a regular, authentic person. That's it. And they want to reach out. Probably my phone number, my WhatsApp, and everything is there. I always talk to everybody because I don't want to live this life of like, oh, I'm above somebody or I'm below somebody. I want everyone to just like be able to hang out and talk. And so that's an open invitation to your viewers if they want to reach out.
Okay,
no
that's yeah. So I can attach your details to the
Sure.
YouTube. Okay, great.
Probably WhatsApp would be best. People send me messages on Facebook Messenger, and I'm like, I don't know how to use Facebook. You know what I mean? It's horrible. So I'm like, just WhatsApp or nothing. You know, so that's fine.
Okay, so ladies and gents, we were talking with Kip. Kip, multi-business. How many businesses? Over a dozen businesses you've been running. Developer, co-working lab, school founder. Yes.
Person peace.
Yes.
Peace to all of you. Thanks for watching. Hope
you
got something out of it. Reach out if you need anything.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Cool.
Man, you're a fascinating human.
Oh,
I
thank you.
really like that conversation.
Well, then maybe you're our bell curve, because I don't know what people
Good
find.
stuff, man.
I don't know what people are going to find interesting or not.